All right, everybody. We are about to go live with CoCoTALK episode 40. We're going to do it live in 3, 2.
Hi, this is Dale Lear, designer of TRS-80 Color Baseball, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
This is CoCoTALK, the nation's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color computer, with your host, Mr. Gameplay Goodness himself, Stevie Stroh.
Okay, I see us.
A lot better.
Yeah, a lot less laggy.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The moon. Beautiful. Sun.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love?
All right. Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to episode 40, the New Year's Eve episode of CoCoTALK Live. And I am joined by an impressive array of talented and good-looking men. Starting with least good-looking to best good-looking, we have myself, your host, OG Stevie Stroh. No, there is no order to this. You can't put a number on beauty, right? So who do we have with us today? Well, we have Grant Leighty. Happy New Year, Grant. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Just a little chilly today.
All right. We have from Canada, D. Bruce Moore is in the house.
Howdy.
All right. Howdy. From
I mean, how's it going, eh?
How's it going, eh? It's going pretty good, eh? From sunny Southern California, Mr. Steve Bjork. Happy New Year, sir.
Happy New Year's all.
All right. And inside the digital processing chip, we have from Boyce and Tech, Mr. Richard Lorbieski. How are you, Richard?
I'm doing good. How are y'all guys?
We alls is good.
Yay.
Host of the CoCo Crew podcast, Retro Challenge, and all things awesome, Mr. John W. Linville. Welcome to the program, sir. Thank you for being here.
Greetings, everyone. How's it going?
All right. Very, very good. From Denmark and an insane asylum near you, the madman, Simon Jonassen. How are you?
Hi, guys.
All right. Not in his garage, looking like he's in the loft or possibly the master bedroom, Mr. Ron Delvaux is with us.
Happy CoCo New Year.
Happy CoCo New Year to you. From Saskatchewan, how the hell do you pronounce that little third world rock you live on, Curtis?
You pronounce it damn cold.
From somewhere up there where it's really damn cold, L. Curtis Boyle's with us. G'day, Curtis.
Good day, eh?
All right, good.
So you pronounce it, so scratch me one.
So scratch.
It's just like Winter Peg.
Yeah. Same deal.
CoCo Man is with us. Jason Reighard. How are you, Jason?
Hey, how you doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Star of music video near you, Mark Overholser. Happy New Year to you, Mark.
Good day, all.
Good day. And last but certainly not least, from Strongware, maker of fine CoCo products and software, John Strong. Happy New Year, John.
Happy New Year.
And of course, John's got to go through and show that he's in the Witness Protection Program. Matter of fact, both guys on the
Wait a second.
are in the Witness Protection Program.
No, so John Linville, your lighting is actually quite well. I appreciate you taking the extra effort to to invest in a lamp for our program.
Yes, it's nice seeing John up close and lit up like this. I always thought he was Neil Blanchard before, so
that's what
Simon Jonassen.
I know, he just opened a curtain.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. So maybe one day we'll have a tech segment on proper lighting for video programming. So,
Do you want better light?
yeah. What is it there, Simon? All right. So we are. It's hard to believe we are on episode 40. And John, what did you guys just celebrate? Is it 31 with yours that just dropped?
Yeah, 31.
Episode 31 of the CoCo Crew podcast, which I finished listening to. Great episode. Thank you once again. We're on episode 40. Now, just the other day, we were treated to a very special Best of the Year episode that Brian Joyce created for us. And I think Brian was in the chat a little while ago. Yeah. So in the live chat, we have Brian Joyce saying happy 40th episode, Steve. Norlander is here saying hi all. Background noise is in effect. Brendan Donahue is here saying hello everyone. David Ladd's in the live chat. So we don't have David Ladd with us on the show, but he's with us in spirit and in chat. So thank you all for being here. David Ladd says Happy New Year. So yeah, it was quite the surprise that Brian Feiscap just joined us too, Paul Fiscarelli. So Brian Joyce created our Best of 2017. I couldn't have done a better job myself. So, did you guys get a chance to see it?
The best part is none of us had to do any work for it. He did.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. So I want to make sure I give credit where credit is due there. That was great watching that. That clip that I played at the top of the show, the "Oh Yeah" clip, that was classic too because Brian had produced that little segment. That's a very iconic '80s track. And what's Simon? What are you doing there, Simon? You got the flashlight out? You're gonna tell ghost stories. So Brian had produced that little clip or the audio portion of that, and then he found some video and he actually made that music video. So I thought that was cool. When I saw the video and I saw our heads bobbing, that just made me think of Night of the Roxbury. So I came up with the second one on that. So inspiration fuels inspiration there. And so yeah, great way to start off the show. I love hearing the new theme song too. It really kind of pumps you up. And, and the show goes completely downhill after that theme song, but at least we start off high energy. It's been a great CoCo year. I'm going to shut up now, and I'm going to let you guys go around the room, and why don't we just say hi and say what we're happy about for this year and maybe what we're looking forward to next year.
And maybe CoCo resolutions, too.
Ooh. Who's starting?
Steve, you pick. Who starts?
Oh, man, you're putting all the pressure on me now. All right, How about Grant Leighty?
Well, I am glad that I got back into the CoCo this year. I got to meet a bunch of great guys, mainly the ones that are showing up here on the CoCoTALK, and plus the ones that I met at CoCo Fest this year. Haven't gone since, 2007. Had a great time at Tandy Assembly. Looking forward next year to grow my collection, learn more, and to meet more people, and hopefully program a couple games. I'm in competition with Steve now, so.
Very cool.
Which Steve are you in competition with? Are you going straight for him?
That's funny. Nick's in
we'll take them both on.
Whoa.
Nick's in the live chat saying,
little does he know what he's talking himself into.
Oh, man.
think you started drinking early for New Year's there, Grant, but okay.
That's true.
Bruce Moore, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
What are your fondest memories and what are your forecasts and wishes for 2018?
Fondest memories. Well, let's see. I'd say, well, I kind of got to say Forest of Doom launch, etc. is my fondest memory, but actually I don't think it is. I think my fondest memory is watching you and Nick Barentes laugh your faces off when you watched that OS9 plug commercial.
that was one of my favorites too, I have to admit. That was good.
It's just very infectious, and it's like, and then the whole ease of use came out of that, and the
catchphrase.
That I think that was probably the number one, but not.
It's you can't pick one, right? So
yeah, but that one. I mean, so launching my game has been great, but that one sort of just hits you right between the eyes. So, and so as far as CoCo resolutions, I've been hinting at this idea I've got of doing a what I don't even know what to call it. Something different anyway, but it's a fictionalized story involving the color computer and various color computer people in a sort of parody type way showing up in it, and I think that's something that could get some traction. We'll see if I manage to pull it together or not. It's a bit of a grand scheme, but
okay.
I am working away. I'm working away at it, and so as long as I don't lose momentum, I think I'll have something fun and exciting in the near future.
Very cool. Very, very cool. And what about you, Mr. Steve Bjork? Fond memories of the year, and what are you looking forward to next year?
Well, I've been kind of on the outskirts of the CoCo on the face group for a while, and all of a sudden I get kind of yanked back into the community.
Yank.
You make it sound involuntary or something.
It was the MC10.
Well, I have to admit, you really gave me a forum to vent about that machine.
That was my second favorite moment right there.
I mean, it's just there's so many things I can vent, from why go backwards, and more importantly, why kill off the deluxe color computer for that piece of, whatever.
That's a doorstop.
It's just like, move forward. But still, anyways, no, I just had a lot of fun getting back in here between your show, Discord. I mean, there's a bunch of us late at night. We just chat and have fun, and it's a bunch of BS that we talk about, but it's a lot of fun. It's almost like having, like you go to a CoCo Fest and you've got on Friday night everybody sitting around the bar. That's what it's like.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it's like.
Yep.
Very cool. Could not put it better, and could not ask for higher accolades right there. So very cool.
One more thing I want to add is still working on the interview that we're going to do together, and I have to admit, I've been digging up stuff I completely forgot about in regards to the CoCo, and it's going to be interesting.
That's a good teaser.
Good. Yeah.
Good.
Excellent. And David Ladd says, yes, I enjoy voicing with everyone on Discord. And we do too, David, especially when you bring out the creepy voice, which is pretty much all the time.
But actually, for a while, on Discord, he was the whipping boy. Everybody made fun of him. And then I vented about the MC10. Now that's the whipping boy.
And it can't defend itself, so.
I can defend it.
Okay.
Richard Lorbieski of Boyson Technologies. And whoever's at the dentist's office right now, can you ask him to... Oh, that's the crickets there. Sounds like a dentist drill.
Oh, no, it's good crickets. Come on.
All right.
So, anyway, enough of the crickets. No, actually, I guess the highlight is just getting to meet all you guys. It's been a long time since I've been to a assembly or get-together. Tandy Assembly, that was the first time I went to a fest. The last time I've been to one was back in '92, back in Atlanta. So it was great that was probably the highlight. And I guess for the next year is really concentrate on getting some of my projects off the ground and getting them out so we can all enjoy them.
Excellent.
And also to finish the bedroom too. So, the wife is getting all over me on that. So
wives have a way of
CoCo's
doing
embedded
that.
in the walls, right?
Yes. No, it's one of those bad things when you start renovating and you get that feature creep coming in because started tearing things out and I said, you know what? I think we need to do crown molding now and then, have to delay it some more.
I wouldn't complain if the wife was getting all over me.
Yeah.
Right.
But you can't forget about yourself in the room. You got to run the coaxial cable, the network wiring, all the other things that make a life worth living that's high tech.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
In the bedroom?
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Well, no, you start in the bedroom and then, we've got this great stuff in the bedroom. Let's put it in the room next door. And next thing you know, it's all through the house and your wife all of a sudden says, I don't remember authorizing all this. It was bits and pieces.
Well, no authorization needed.
Right.
Well, actually, our main coax comes in through the bedroom, and I need to reroute it because I wanted to set up like a little server room closet, and got to do that. And then
see, there you go.
Run it throughout the house. I got Cat 6 cables, so
There you go. That was when I upgraded my internet and everything else. I did the same thing. I ran Cat 6 through the house. I got network outlets on every wall. You can't live without it. Very, very cool. John W. Linville. Well, we did hear some of our roundtable discussion, but I'm sure we can give a short version of what our fond memories are from this year and maybe some of our hopes and dreams for next year.
Well, I'm really glad that Tandy Assembly was not a flop. So that was good. Had a time at CoCo Fest as well. Produced a bunch of episodes of CoCo Crew along with Neil and Mike. So that was good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We've seen a little temperature flare from time to time. That's always fun if you're not in the middle of it. Anyway, so hoping in the next year get a little more time for actually producing projects involving some code, maybe some hardware, some combination thereof. Really like to get something out that uses the extra buttons on that Sega Genesis controller for the adapter that Neil builds. Beyond that, I guess we'll just have to see.
Yeah, I heard Neil talking about the kind of low-cost version of that adapter. And honestly, I don't think the cost, it was that much of an issue. And I don't think having the box, it was terrible either. I have one, and it's a it's a good little product. I think some people who know how to build this, they definitely could build their own. As everybody's mentioned, it's a 30+ year old design that's been out there. But yeah, I think it's cool that he's cutting some costs, but I guess to each their own. I like the original design. There was some quality to it and some tangibility to it,
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure the 30-year-old design as is will work with the Genesis controller.
Oh yeah, true.
Because of the way they power the button inputs, and of course the actual switching through using the serial port as a switch to access the extra buttons is not accounted for in the older designs. Anyway, I like the design. I'm partial to it. I like Neil's work with the box. We designed the PCB especially to fit that box.
Uh-huh.
And so I think it's kind of a shame to see him go with the bare board version. But he did build one and put one on eBay this morning and put it at the higher price, I think, by accident, and somebody bought it.
So, I thought that was funny when you said, what are you going to do to get rid of the cheap Canadian labor? And he's like, yeah, well, we're just going to use the pre-made DINs.
Exactly.
I don't have to laborize over this. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I'll get to my thank yous, but I'm certainly grateful for a lot of the hardware and software you've brought to us this past couple of years. Simon Jonassen, the madman.
What's up, Matty?
What are your fond recollections from 2017 and looking forward to 2018?
Finally getting a demo completed was a good one. All in one. And getting myself a CoCo 3.
Excellent.
Even though it seems to be a mutant.
A mutant CoCo 3.
Yeah, it seems to be an NTSC CoCo 3 with a 220 volt transformer in it.
Okay.
So when I hooked it up to my CMP monitor, it was like, I'm not going to show you color because this is an NTSC signal on a PAL. Okay, so I'm going to have to do RGB via the SCART, but no biggie.
It's a CoCo 3. We can live with it, right?
It's a CoCo 3, yes, and it's been upgraded to 512.
So, cool.
And a 609 or?
It's a 6809 for now. I do have a 6309, but I'm pretty tentative to start cutting pins. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, we know a guy. He's on the call. He knows how to do that. He's not close to you.
A guy
but
who's on the call. Yeah. Well, I have to send it to America, and it gets sent back, and I have to pay tax on it once again.
Oh yeah. Screw tax. Yeah.
You just have to get a good desolder. That's all.
And what about 2018? What are you looking forward to next year?
2018, total CoCo 3 demo, pushing all the limits.
Nice, very cool.
Yeah. Self-modifying all the way.
That's a terrible idea. Terrible idea.
Yes, it is.
And I heard Steve's eye roll from here.
By the way, in Discord, I was talking to this guy, and he's got a CoCo. Works fine with every single game and product he's got. You put your game in, it crashes. Timberman.
That was me.
My game.
Yeah.
It wasn't my game. It was Paul Player's game, but I helped him out.
Yeah, I know. It's got some of your self-modifying code in it, no doubt.
Yeah, but it runs. It runs, though. I think Jason's got an anomaly, but the game runs.
Yeah, it runs. It runs. It's just that my feeling with self-modifying code, you're running with a broken ankle.
All right.
You might be.
But it's
you might be. It depends if you're wrong.
If
you're wrong, you're not going to get away with it, are you?
Well, we're going to move on now.
Yes, we can move on. We can move on. I think probably me and Steve need to have a discussion about it offline.
Ron Delvaux, host of Ron's Garage. Where are you sitting at now, Ron? Is this a...
I'm in the spare bedroom. Where
okay.
The server's right behind me here, the internet connection, so I'm close and it's strong. Anyway, I was thinking, I met a lot of people this year on this CoCoTALK, and it's been fun. And getting to meet everybody at CoCo Fest soon will be even a lot more fun.
That'll be awesome. Yeah, Paul Fiscarelli says it looks like you're in Ron's sewing room right now. So
that's where he keeps the MC10s.
I have a CoCo computer too, just in case.
Just in case.
So anyway, I was talking to my wife this morning, and both of us, our family has been involved with Tandy products for many years in the past. My wife used to work at a window company, and she worked on a Model 3 and then a Model 4 on doing accounting. She was an accountant for 20 years before she became a scientist, and now she does research on But she worked on Model 4 and used VisiCalc and some other software package. She thinks it's Lotus. And then my sister worked alongside of her. And so my wife today says, I said, why don't you come on the show and talk about your experience with Tandy? Oh, no. I'm not going to do that. No
Camera shy, huh?
Very much so.
Okay.
But,
well, especially after what you were doing to her this morning on camera,
Yeah, she's somewhat justified, I think, in that case.
So anyways, this next year I'm hoping that Ron's Garage will turn into something interesting. I thought maybe in the beginning of the year I would show either doing a little video or maybe just showing on the video how to throw your color computer together and use a regular TV to hook it up, and then maybe even use if you have a color computer 3, what you're supposed to use to make it work. The new SDC board.
Yeah.
How you use that. Maybe at the beginning of the year, some of the people who get a new machine might want to learn how to just get going with it, get started. Maybe even talk about emulators and stuff. I know that's a subject. And then, maybe even just go big with the MC10.
Go big. go big or go home. Cool. Yeah, we've got a lot of good ideas and suggestions, and I'm hoping we can bring to the show. And we're thankful for all that. So thank you, sir. All right, and we are moving on to L. Curtis Boyle. How's your CoCo year been? What are your fond memories this year, Curtis?
Well, I think the CoCoTALK show is the biggest fond memory in general. Though the OS9 Nick Marionette's ad was hilarious. I actually had tears in my eyes the first time I watched that one.
Tears
and then
of
I
joy,
did it again when we watched Nick's reaction to it. So. And of course the famous EMP incident, but
which made the best of. You couldn't be there. Couldn't be a best of without that. So.
Yeah, exactly. The other things I've been grateful for is actually getting involved with getting into the code of Nitrous 9 again. Just a little bit so far, kind of relearning because a lot of stuff's changed since the old days. But and getting the EOS project started and off the ground, from Nick's prodding for years and years. Another highlight of that, I guess, is that Nick, for the first time in his life, actually contributed something to it. He actually redesigned some of the icons for us. That'll be coming out in the next alpha. Which that's Hell Freezes Over territory there.
Right.
But cool anyway.
Yeah. So as far as resolutions is to get the actual thing out, I'm going to be doing some modifications to some of the modules to add some functionality that the original Multiview did not have to make it a better product launcher and a more universal one. I'm not going to try to duplicate like MShell or Towel. We're going to actually include those packages, and then you can run that if you need to do massive file manipulations and stuff too. So that's my main project to work on, and then whatever side tracking I get onto, like I did with Rescue on Fractalus and Rogue and everything else, like I normally do. So
shiny objects.
Yes. Exactly. Everything's shiny. Darn it.
Yeah, I know. Very cool. Well, thanks for doing that. We for those of us who are not OS9 fluent or savvy, it's nice to have the ease of use edition coming to a CoCo near you.
And a stepping stone, like people, once they get used to that part of it, then they might start delving into, doing the more sophisticated stuff, and then maybe they'll get into programming for it. So we're still hoping to see a game from you on that. So
yeah, well, baby steps. Okay,
baby steps.
Cool. And Jason CoCo Man Reighard, we are glad to have you on the program, sir. And what are your kind of fun memories? I'm going to take a wild guess, but I'll let you say it.
Oh yeah. Well, of course, it has to be the Chalice of Bravery.
Yes,
that's the highlight right there. I mean, and that was great. That was great fun. As I've said before, that's the most fun I've had with my color computer in a very long time. And also just a great highlight is just getting back into this whole community. I had been out of the community for quite some time. Sometime after PenFest 2000, I kind of drifted out of the way, but. It's been a year, and as far as next year goes, I'm really looking forward to finding out about Tandy Assembly before it happens, not a week after it happens. Still working through some of this old hardware, and hope to get that mysterious CoCo 3 that won't run Timberman for whatever reason, get that up and running, and just some of these other little projects. And
it's that damn self-modifying code, I tell you. It modified itself to screw your computer.
all fairness to Paul, it worked. I have another CoCo 3. It works just fine on it. So there's something in there that's wonky.
It's the
You just
Timberman
got to port
effect.
to Nitrous 9, that's all.
Very
Ease
cool.
of use.
Ease of use. Mark Overholser, Mr. Music Video Star himself. Guy's got more rhythm than Michael Jackson. And so, yeah, what have been some of your fond memories this year?
Wow, there's a lot of them, actually. Got to meet all of you, be on here with you. The chats we have after in the evening sometimes. All the new CoCo stuff is excellent. I couldn't find my bomb threat, but I got my Forest of Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Got my Timberman.
Yes, huh?
Just got this for Christmas.
The CoCo book. Good stuff. Good times.
CoCo book. And I got this would be Zipster's card, and just today in the mail I got John Strong's card. Or not John Strong, sorry, John Linville's.
Okay, John Linville's holding up bomb threat right there.
Yep.
Very cool. So
Yep,
you've got both of the new sound card offerings.
Yep.
You are a sound man by trade, so it's only appropriate you've got sound products. Hopefully you will make some sound with these devices.
That's the plan.
That sounds like a good idea.
I hope so.
Sounds like a sound plan.
Pitch it, Steve.
Stay on target. So what are you looking forward to for next year?
Well, for the last couple of years, I've been really wanting to do some network-type games with the CoCo and other 8-bit computers. Mm-hmm. So I've been looking into network options for the CoCo. And then, of course, I've been trying to recruit people to kind of help out with this. So I have a few people that are wanting to chip in and do work on stuff. And I'm glad to see that Simon got to meet up with Tom Porter, who's an Apple guy who's been doing a lot of one-bit sound and low-res graphics on the Apple. Seeing them do some stuff on the CoCo.
Neat.
So trying to get people together to synergize stuff and see if we can make some cool games.
Very cool.
So that's what I'm looking for 2018.
Cats and dogs living in harmony, right? When the CoCo and the Apple can multiplay across the internets.
That is the plan.
When Al Gore when Al Gore invented the internets, he never expected the CoCo and the Apple to play together. But you know what? It's a new era. So, very cool. Now, in the live chat, David Parrish says, thanks to everyone for sharing all the great conversation. Looking forward to more great CoCo info in 18. Cool stuff. And we're lucky to have John Strong back with us. John Strong of Strongware. Happy New Year, sir. Or maybe not. All right, we might be losing John Strong. Hopefully he'll come back. Is he back?
Okay, I should be back on.
All right, John Strong, welcome. And what are some of your fond memories of 2017 and looking forward to 2018?
Be able to do CoCo Fest. And looking forward to finishing some games and coming up with some new ideas for things.
Nice.
Done some nice cases this past year. And
we've seen them. They look fantastic.
And so there's still more to do. I've got to do one for the MC10. Everybody go hide. For the supercart. And hopefully we'll be able to make it to Tandy Assembly this year.
Very cool. And CoCo Fest too, hopefully, which will be sooner.
Oh yeah, that's a given. So.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. Well, we're glad to have you making all your hardware and software and cases for the community. All right. Well, we've been blathering here for a bit, so we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back. And we'll continue the program. So just stay tuned, and thanks for being here, everybody.
Hello, This is CoCoTALK, and you are watching Original Gamer Stevie Stroh.
Hi, I'm Kieran Anscombe, author of XRAW, and your brain is resolving sensory input into CoCoTALK.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me, it's Original Gamer Stevie Stroh. You know, gameplay. To get your copy of a Gameplay Goodness Color Computer Gaming DVD today, head on over to 8bit256.com. There you will find several DVDs featuring color computer gameplay videos by the Original Gamer Stevie Stroh. So to get your very own copy of a Gameplay Goodness Color Computer Gaming DVD, head on over to the Retro Swag Shop at 8bit256.com and tell them the Original Gamer Stevie Stroh sent you.
Hello, my name is Grant Leighty, and thank you for watching the CoCoTALK with your host, Stevie Stroh. You got your Coco 3 yet?
Where can you catch all the latest news and information about the Tandy Color Computer and Compatibles? Oh yeah, I'm talking about the CoCo Crew Podcast. Dig it each month. Join John, Neil, and Mike as they lay down the latest news and information about the Radio Shack Tandy Color Computer and Compatibles. Groove to interviews, tech segments, and discussions all about the Radio Shack Tandy Color Computer. Strut your fine self over to www.cococrew.org and start listening today. The CoCo Crew Podcast. Keeping it Coco, dig?
You gotta love that Myro content, and there was more Myro per square inch in episode 31 of the CoCo Crew podcast. There was so much content in there. I don't know how the guy can squeeze out the stuff he does. I mean, every single production, it's quality, it's entertaining, it's informative. I mean, the man is a genius, he's an artisan, he's a true talent. So
it's kind of like the exact opposite of our show.
So I would like to very quickly raise a CoCoTALK mug glass that you can get your very own copy of on 8bit256.com. But I would like to raise a CoCoTALK mug to Myro and all of his awesomeness, because Myro is one badass mofo, I have to say. So yes, to Myro and to the CoCo Crew for providing us years and years and years of entertainment. There's Ron Delvaux holding up his mug. We're all holding up our mugs. So raise a glass to Myro.
I'm sticking with the official drink of the CoCo Crew podcast.
What are you drinking there? What are you drinking there, Jason? You drinking some freaking glass cleaner?
It was handy.
That explains how you were able to solve Forest of Doom. You did some performance enhancement there. I want to call shenanigans on this one here. We need to piss test this guy here.
You might be getting the other mug now.
Oh man, awesome. So yeah, I'll save mine for last now. So yeah, what am I thankful for? Well, I'll start off by saying I'd like to thank God. Without him, nothing would be possible. I would like to thank my parents for conceiving me. And then I would like to thank the color computer, because without the color computer, I would not be the scumbag that I am today. I would be some other scumbag, probably a blue-collar scumbag. So thank you, CoCo, for making me a high-tech scumbag. And I'm thankful for finding the color computer community and the CoCo Crew podcast and the Facebook group, and then CoCo Fest and Tandy Assembly, and then this program, and all the people we have met and we continue to gather with. It's overwhelming. It's surreal. It's amazing. And what I'm looking forward to for 2018 is to release my first ever public CoCo game, because I made a bunch of them as a kid in BASIC, and I'm working on one now. And I do want to learn some of the new things that are floating around right now, like this compiler, whatever the heck it's called. So
CBasic 3.
something like that. So yeah, it's been on my radar, and it's been on my to-do list to finish my programming in BASIC series, start a project, and then evolve this project through iterations. To first do it in BASIC, and then hybrid assembly, and then assembly. Ever since I've discovered that we have the ability to put something on a ROM cartridge, I want to have something on a ROM cartridge because we can. And I believe a new CoCo game belongs on a ROM cartridge. So my goal will be eventually, when I have a game that's worthy enough to be on a cartridge and it runs fast enough to be, comparable to a commercial CoCo game of the 80s, I want to release a game on ROM cartridge. So that's my goal.
And Steve, when you get on that cartridge, I'll show you the copy protection routines that we used to use for ROM packs.
Okay.
That way you'll be completely official. Tandy quality.
And of course, they'll have that self-modifying ROM code too.
So yeah, so that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to is to finally have a CoCo product that I can create and contribute, because what we're all talking about here is how many games and how many products have been released. There's a lot to be thankful for between all the new products. John Strong has got a bunch of them. John Linville has got a ton of them. Simon Jonassen has bringing a lot of demos to us and helping everybody else make their games. Like Simon helped Lee Patterson with Bouncy Ball, and he helped Paul Thayer with Timberman. We've got Rick Adams creating stuff.
He helped me too.
Yeah. So Bruce Moore, yes, with the SG edit and other routines. So yeah, so Forest of Doom. There's a lot of new CoCo games that I'm thankful for, and I think the only thing I wish there was more of was more CoCo games. And so hopefully I can throw at least one into the pile. So that's my plan for next year. And at some point in time today, I will show you guys the latest update on my demo of Cosmic Aliens, because I do have an updated tech demo with some actual animation. So the kind of world premiere of the project in progress, so to speak. So that's all I have to say about that. As my good friend Mr. Gump would say. And what else we want to talk about today, boys and girls?
I want to play with this.
What do we got here, Simon? What is that? What is that? Is that the SGM?
That's the Ed's sound cartridge.
Ed's sound cartridge.
PSG.
Okay.
CoCo PSG.
PSG. I get the initials confused. Yeah. Okay.
PSG. So yeah. I want to play with this.
Okay.
Steve, we're going to have to start coming up with some sort of registry for all these acronyms.
A programmable sound generator, which is actually the AY chip in guys. It's like what's in the SSC, just a lot better implementation.
Okay.
So there goes all the acronyms.
Because it's direct access, e.g. one register per port and one register for the different ports. So it's a wicked piece of kit, and it's got the digital sticks on it as well.
Okay.
So it's like an Atari joystick or a C64 joystick, where you just have digital switches. Right.
Yeah, it's got a lot of features packed in there.
Yeah, and it's got 512K of RAM and 512K of flash.
Okay, this isn't by any chance you're not getting a kickback on this product placement promotion here, are you?
Not at all. Because I actually done stuff John Linville's sound cart as well on MAME.
Yeah, so, I'm messing with you. We're here to promote everybody.
Yeah, you're messing with my head, aren't you? Everyone's messing with my head.
Now remember, when you do your self-modifying code, only do it in the RAM. If you do it in the flash, you'll wear out the bits in the flash.
Am I the new whipping boy?
Simon, that's somebody who's got graphic artist skills. You need to draw like a superhero version of Simon. We're gonna call him SM, self-modifying man, or something.
Just score 370. No, score 6809 on Timberman.
All right, well, we do have something to share here. We've reached a new milestone on our audio podcast downloads. We have reached 3,900 downloads. That's a pretty cool milestone right there. And we've had almost 2,200 downloads in the past 3 months. And I'm very happy with these numbers. I'm very happy that people are listening to the program as well as watching the program. To me, it doesn't matter how people are going to do it. What are some of our most listened to episodes right now? Well, right now, ease of use is one of the let's do all time. So right now, the Tandy Assembly pregame show is the most listened to episode, followed by Nick Morentis' Pac-Man update and the Basic 09 talk. Ease of use comes in at number 3. The CoCo hardware discussions, where we talked about real hardware and emulated hardware, comes in at number 4. The Tandy Assembly wrap-up show at number 5. I sound like Casey Kasem on the charts here, yeah. New CoCo games comes in, and then community chat, Ron's Garage, and Forest of Doom teasers on the list. Podcast announcement, episode 21. Ron's retro video, where he showed off his computer club. Grant's newbie question. An introduction to OS 9 and Nitrous 9 is number 9. And number 10 in the top 10 list is CoCoTALK After Dark, episode 1, which happens to be the only episode that we've got so far. When we look at some of the views we've gotten for some of our most recent episodes, pretty nice here on the view count. So our Forest of Doom, so Timberman episode had 117 views. The Forest of Doom live stream and contest, 106 views. And that was episode 38. We had a couple of live streams of Forest of Doom that are in like the 75 view count. Our Christmas Eve episode just shy of 92, just shy of 100 views there, 92 views. And the Best of CoCoTALK, which was just released, I think, yesterday or so, already up to 54 views, which is very cool. A little bit of feedback here. We got Scott Haley said Merry Christmas to you guys on our Christmas episode. Craig Madsen came across one of my programming and basic videos saying, I hope this series continues. And so, yeah, we got some comments there. We got some feedback there. So thank you, everybody who's been watching the show and listening to the show. I'm glad people are enjoying the program.
Yeah, it's good to hear. It's good to see you're getting like about, the podcast was up to what, about 700 downloads a month now the last 3 months?
Something like that. Yeah, it's more than 100 downloads per week of the podcast.
I mean, that's all episodes combined. I presume that's still pretty good, though.
Yeah. So people are listening. That's kind of cool.
The best part for them, of course, they don't have to see us.
Yeah, right. Got a face for radio, kid. And just out of curiosity, Grant Leighty. Oh, by the way, nice shirt there, Grant.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Do you have a newbie question of the week for us this week?
No, I do not. Not a newbie question, but I do have a question of the week.
All right. Do you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Sure. So my question is for the panel is, what are your plans to do with the CoCo for next year? What is your projects?
That sounds like a newbie question. He wants to know what he can get next year.
Does anybody have anything planned that's going to be big, other than maybe like a new game, John Linville?
Well, I do plan to produce something, but it's still kind of up in the air. I've got 2 basic ideas in mind, but like I said, my biggest, 3, I guess. My biggest objective is to get a something out that uses the extra buttons on the Genesis controller. So everybody, go ahead and buy your adapter from Neo. But of course, that limits it to a CoCo 3 style of game, which is a little intimidating because CoCo 3 style games kind of demand a little more attention to the artwork. And the artwork in Farfall is kind of my fullest extent of art. So we'll see how that goes. But my thinking there is probably something using a tank, and maybe something that pushes around squares or something. So somewhere between Bomberman and Pingo or something like that, but with a tank.
Oh, cool. Cool.
We'll see how it turns out. The other thought has been for like a CoCo 1 or 2, an implementation basically of River Raid, something similar to what's on the Atari.
Oh, neat.
But I have put more thought to that over the past year, but I haven't written any code, so we'll see how it goes.
Cool.
Hey, John, you know that you don't have to use the 16-color mode on a CoCo 3. You can use a 2-color or 4-color mode.
Well, it's true. I just I feel like people expect more. That's all.
Very cool.
Anything about new hardware-wise that is going to overtake for this next year? Anybody think?
I think we need a third or fourth sound option.
Yeah.
Oh, they're coming. They're coming.
Like the MC-12?
I'm hoping to see some Game Master Cart hardware being shipped.
Yeah, well, I would like to support it when I get to that point. I don't even. I need a game before I can add music to it. But yeah, that's part of my long-term plan.
I do plan to support the Game Master.
The Game Master. We do have a little bit of trolling in the live chat here. So Jim Brain of Retro Innovations is saying that Steve inflates the numbers. Getting back to, I was talking about our views and downloads. He goes, he just tests PC repairs by loading CoCoTALK episodes on them. Yeah, I actually have a farm somewhere in India that I outsource this to. And then when the newbie question came in, he says, "Yeah, we've decided Grant is no noob. So Grant, you've lost your noob."
Credentials.
You're noob to credentials. And then Jim also says we should have a 0-color mode.
See, I thought on his first point there, I thought he would have said you were preloading the PCs with bloatware or something instead. But
well, that's what CoCoTALK is apparently. So
it's amazing how good the internet connection is under Jim's bridge.
Especially with all the tinfoil he has, to protect things from surveillance.
Is that now officially a Linvillism too? I gotta check.
I think that should be a new segment. Jim's Bridge.
Defending Jim's list.
I want a Jim's Bridge segment.
Well, that could be in a new episode of Forest of Doom. We could just have the the Jim Brain can come out and ask for money. So
no, you have to have a bridge somewhere.
Actually, he'll come out and he'll have the sign to where the castle is, except he'd be always pointing the wrong direction.
Yeah, there you go.
How about a multiplayer Doom?
A multiplayer Forest of Doom that could tie in with the networking option.
Yes, very much.
Yeah. And Jim says, "Yeah, whenever Bruce makes a real game." So.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ouch.
The ribbing is good.
I got a feeling Jim's got to show up in my next project.
Fair is fair.
You have to make an extra RAM project though to hold all of his ego. So.
Right.
Probably would require 8 meg or so.
I was surprised to see OS9 fanatics in the Forest of Doom instead of maybe some MC10 fanatics or something.
They'd be too easy to beat.
Yeah,
there aren't that many of them.
You're being attacked by a lonely, small little MC10.
Right.
Well, we missed our girlfriends in here today too.
Oh yeah. Our adult dating website sex.com sponsor is not here today.
I still think that was Jim in disguise anyway.
They're probably just disappointed they didn't get the response they were looking for.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he was disappointed. So.
All right. Well, you guys want to take a peek at my updated little work in progress on Cosmic Aliens for the CoCo?
Yes.
Sure. And afterwards, did you want to show a couple clips from the best of that Bill Joyce made? Or do you want to just...
No, just let people watch the episode. It's too hard for me to do that. I went ahead and pulled what I could pull from that. What am I doing here? Okay, so here we go. Can you guys see the screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. So what you're going to see, just to set the stage, when the program first loads, you're going to see the image load in, which was drawn from the pixel editor that Paul Thayer gave me. So the first image gets loaded in. You're going to see things turn yellow. As they're turning yellow, that was just me visually knowing that I was getting and putting the right areas of the screen. So those little yellow boxes is just my visual indication, kind of like highlighting or marking off what I've done. And then you'll see the actual tech demo for all of its blazing speed and glory. So are you ready? Drum roll, please. And here we go. And so now I am able to move my spaceship left and right, and I have 8 unique aliens moving on screen, and this is the exact same logic and pretty much same process I use to do my MS-DOS quick basic version of Cosmic Aliens. Just random generations, picking one of 8 directions and just kind of moving around. And look at the speed. You would think this was assembly by looking at this, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Especially that 4-voice music you got going in the background.
Interrupt driven, right? So
I know you're during rests right now in the music track, but
yeah, I've noticed that the masking really works great in this basic program.
Yeah, awesome masking. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, the only thing I'm doing
like right there.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, stay on target.
He hasn't made the collision detection yet.
Well, they won't collide with each other because they're friendly. They're friendly with each other.
Oh.
But yeah, so this was just me right now saying, can I put things on the screen? Can I move things around? And we're already starting to see some of the limitations of the speed of BASIC. And so I'm very much looking forward to seeing what this compiler can do. But I'm also just kind of happy that I was able to draw the graphics and make a little tech demo to show that I can move objects on the screen. So this is how everything starts. Getting back to Grant's question from last week, how do you start a game? Well, first I drew the graphics, and now I'm just making little chunks of program to allow me to move my spaceship, which I had last week. And now this morning I added the ability to move my ships around, the alien ships, so they're moving around. And it's just little pieces, and you just keep adding on to it, and that's just kind of how it goes. So there you have it. This is the latest update on the progress of Cosmic Aliens. I've also started a website for this too, cosmicaliens.com, which I'll continue to show some of the progress on, as I progress on things. I can tell by your stunned silence, everybody here is just blown away.
I'm just thinking about a lesson plan for you on how to get these guys to move around in vector patterns.
Okay.
So you can have sweeping motions.
Oh,
and like that.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Remember Galaxian when they had come in and fly in? Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Are you going to have a retro intro with the squares all around the edge?
Not the Datasoft marquee, but I will have something like the original one of block letters where it'll say Cosmic Aliens and play a little bit of music and stuff. So I'll have something. Yeah, that's going to be the next tool. Is I'm going to start doing some stuff with Simon Jonassen's tool, the SG Edit, that lets you do semi-graphic stuff. So hopefully by next week I'll have an animated title screen, but I felt it was a little bit more important to get something a little bit more visual as far as the animation and stuff going.
Okay, and a question for Bruce, since Bruce has been fiddling with the CirComp compiler.
Yes.
From your experience in fiddling with it, how much would that help Steve's program?
Well, according to CirComp, if you're using get input, you can see maybe a 4 times speed increase if that's what you're doing.
Okay.
So that's cool. And there's a couple of other things in there that could be very useful. For instance, they've added a couple of extra commands that will actually let you use interrupts. So that could come in very handy.
For background sound?
Yeah, exactly. And there's a command, they call it a generate command, GEN, where you can actually just drop bytecode right into the program, and you can either use it as data, so you could have all your little pre-drawn ships embedded in there as data statements.
Okay.
But just the bytes though. You just actually put the bytes.
Uh-huh.
And the other part is that if you had a little machine language routine you wanted, that you can convert these things to data statements and poke them into memory. That's how we would do it as just basic people. Well, you can take those same bytes, leave them in a data statement, and then you would do a go sub to the line number, and it will execute the code. So there's some interesting possibilities there if you can find your way around the C Basic compiler and moving. You can either use the editor that comes with it, or you can, like I'm trying to do, I'm using Notepad++ and MAME's image tool to keep moving the code back into a disk and compiling it, which is a little tedious, but at the same time being able to just replace a lot of look at the whole thing at once on the screen and in the Notepad is pretty sweet code wise. So yeah, so there's definitely, like, your project I could see working well. The biggest difference is you have to define the strings a little differently, your arrays.
Okay.
Otherwise the code looks about the same. No real numbers. That's one thing that's come up here. You have to do something special if you want real numbers. It's assuming all integers stuff, which is where you get your speed, I guess.
Okay. Okay. Well,
forget puts, you wouldn't need reals anyway. So
no. There's documentation and all this stuff's out there.
Yeah, there's good documentation for it.
Okay, I'll get with you offline on some of that and look at that process a little bit. That's probably where I should go ahead and move over to, because, like I said, I'm already starting to feel the speed creep coming in. So and it's early enough in the process where it's not a big transition. Cool. Yeah, so that will help because so technically I'll still be writing it in BASIC, but it won't be running in BASIC, which is so you'll get some performance boost out of there. I am doing some page flipping just to get rid of the flicker, but I'm not doing any masking right now because there's just too much going on. So cool, very cool. So yeah, I look forward to that. That's like a extra Christmas present right there. So very, very cool.
Is this going to be a CoCo 2?
Well, that would be my plan. My plan would be to make it compatible with the CoCo 1, 2, and Dragon. And then because I want my first thing to be a CoCo, pretty much CoCo 1, 2 thing, because that was the machine I grew up with. And then a future project will be CoCo 3.
Then go right to VR.
Virtual reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Right, we need 2 CoCos for that, for the stereo, right? One for each eye.
Or 2 MC10s.
To hold the CoCos down.
They're small enough you can strap those right to your head. So.
Yeah, right to the head. Yeah.
Become your own doorstop.
Ease of use. All right.
The 3 is nice.
We need to find out if they actually buried those into the landfill somewhere.
You just never know.
See my comment on the fact that they don't really yellow like CoCo do?
Well, that's because
nobody ever uses them.
Yeah, they're never taken out into the light of day.
They've never seen the light of day.
They're all under the bridge with Jim.
Wasn't Elon Musk mentioned he was going to send a rocket full of them to Mars or something, or was that his car? I can't remember.
Very, very cool. All right, well, let's we're going to do a commercial, but did anybody have any acquisitions that they want to talk about? You want to think about that, and we'll come back after that after the commercial? All right, we'll be right back in 2 and 2.
Hi, this is Rick Adams, and I'm the author of Temple of Ram and Shanghai, and you are watching Original Gamer Stevie Stroh.
Hi, this is Mark Overholser. and you're listening to CoCoTALK, the nation's leading weekly live talk show about the Tandy color computer.
At Gsoft, we make games for the TRS-80 color computer, TRS-80 MC10, and Dragon computers. Our basic games cover the range of genres from arcade, to text adventures, to simulations, to 3D dungeon crawls. This is our latest puzzle game from Japan, Fruit Panic. So come on and drop by our website and download our latest games.
Hey, this is Bruce Moore, author of Force of Doom, and you're watching the Original Gamer Stevie Stroh.
Many have tried. Few have succeeded. Can you defeat the Forest of Doom?
Send your proof of victory before December 16 to fod@gracenote.ca for your chance to win the Chalice of Bravery.
Now, is there anybody we know that might have won that Chalice of Bravery?
It was fake news.
How does victory taste, Jason?
Like window cleaner, maybe? I don't know.
Wow.
I'm still awaiting that, but I know it'll arrive eventually.
Yeah, it's going to be an armored truck has to deliver it. So
it's going to be brought by a representative of the U.S. government.
Right, and PricewaterhouseCoopers will be there to verify the authenticity of the delivery. All that
Read
good
the wrong
stuff.
name.
Good stuff. So, project updates, acquisitions. Anybody got anything they want to share with us?
You can have a look at my CoCo 3. I'll just show the inside of it. You can see how weird it actually is. Give me 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
It's all gone. Take that cover off there.
This is the Alien CoCo 3.
Yeah, well, it's obviously a
hybrid.
Safe deal.
Right. So basically, the United States runs at 120 volts alternating current and typically uses an never the same color, right? NTSC output.
60 hertz.
And then most European stuff has a 220 watt power supplies. Watts or volts? I don't know.
Volt.
220 volt, and they typically use a signaling for the television called PAL. So
Can someone see the power supply?
The power supply is in the bottom right hand corner.
Yeah. Look, it's got a board on it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's unusual.
It looks like possibly a CoCo 2 power supply stuffed into a CoCo 3 case.
Okay. Do you suspect somebody took an American CoCo and brought it to Europe and had to kind of bastardize it to work with the power there?
Yeah, because the power supply itself is actually 240 volts.
Yeah.
And they ran a from the RGB port to the CMP output, possibly a wire for VSync, because they probably didn't have a monitor that was able to sync.
Okay.
So
a lot of custom hackery going on there.
Yeah, it's definitely an NTSC CoCo, but just with a bastardized power supply from somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a CoCo 2 power supply or whatever. I need to take a CoCo 2 apart to see it.
And the 512K board in that, is that one of the Cloud9's earlier sim ones, or is it a hack job too?
No. I just put that in the other day. It's a Cloud9 job.
Okay, so that's their one previous to the Triad.
Yes. I received that from one of my American friends.
You have more than one?
I have a couple.
It's Jim Brain that has no friends, so
I tend to have to buy them. You know?
We have a sponsor for that. It's adultdatingsexsite.com. So I wanted to show some. Yeah, I wanted to show.
You are a wicked man.
I wanted to show something that Jason put on the Facebook group, but again, more of his PenFest stuff. This is from PenFest '99, and this is showing the guide, the kind of the little brochure thing. So before he showed a bunch of photos of PenFest 2000, PenFest '99. This again, just kind of seeing the schedule of events. And when you look at these schedule of events, well, listen, how long has CoCo Fest been going on now? 27 years. And, before CoCo Fest, there was Rainbow Fest. So you see some similarities here, how you have like these lineups of speakers and presentations and stuff. So I guess this format has been around and it's fairly tried and true, right? Your vendor, a list of vendors, a list of the floor plan. It seems like these PenFests, for being as far back as they were definitely well organized and well produced events. Here's again a picture of the floor plan here
from the 2001.
Yeah, really interesting. If how's that song go by Cher? If I could turn back time, I definitely wish I could have attended any Rainbow Fest or some of the earlier CoCo Fests or a PenFest. You can't turn back time, but what you can do is try to make sure you don't miss what's going on right now. So things like CoCo Fest and things like Tandy Assembly, make your plans and get there. Because most of us who are here on this call, a lot of us, we kind of got together because of things like the CoCo and CoCo Fest. And when you get to meet, you get to meet people in person, you get to hang out for a weekend. It is a pretty cool little experience. It's that's kind of what I liked about this show, was it helped kind of take some of the edge off of the blues. We talk about the CoCo Fest blues, and like I used to call it the withdrawals from the CoCo Crew podcast. You get a nice good 4-hour episode on a short month. You get a lot of good content, and then you have to wait 29 days for more CoCo content. So I like this show where we can just kind of get together and can keep that spirit and camaraderie alive. But nothing beats the real thing, So hanging out with your CoCo buds in person is really the way to go. Probably a good segue to talk about the CoCo Fest too. But it's blah, blah, blah. What PenFest? Those of us on the panel who were there, and what are some of your memories and things, takeaways, and shareable moments of PenFest?
I think I was there for the first one, which I think was 98.
I believe so. Yeah, Ron Bull did those. Yeah.
And that was the show. He was learning how to do the show.
And I was at the 2001, which Nick basically helped organize quite a bit of it.
Yeah. I helped organize quite a bit of the 98. It was kind of like, I've gone to these CoCo Fests. Hey, I want to have a CoCo Fest in my backyard, so I don't have to drive.
Right.
So,
I do wish Steve and some of the other people that had never been to the ones except for CoCo Fest had been able to go to a Rainbow Festival in its heyday in the early to mid 80s when there was like 10,000 plus people at them, because that was pretty impressive.
I do remember giving a talk at the Chicago Rainbow Fest on this new thing called a Color Computer 3.
Yep, I was at that one.
And you recall that room, that was standing room only.
Yep. So there was some people playing laser tag in the back for a little bit, if I remember correctly, or maybe that was at the breakfast. I can't remember.
I know I was one of them. I brought my equipment.
I might have been to breakfast then.
But I think there was about 3,000 people in that room.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
insane. The attendance at that show, I think, was 11 or 12, and there's one of the ones a bit earlier than that. I think 83 or 84 was like 14,000 people or something.
Well, you have to remember, if you bought a 2-day ticket, you're counted twice.
Yeah, and I knew some people that only went the 1 day, so.
Yeah, but yeah, if you bought a ticket for a day, you were considered, and you had the ticket for the second day, you're counted as a completely different person. So the numbers were a little inflated.
Oh,
yeah,
like,
but still thousands.
Yeah, it's still in the thousands.
Even if it was half of that and it was like 5,000 to 7,000 people, that's still impressive.
Yeah, the shows that had the highest attendance were the ones that are 3-day.
Yep.
Wow. Interesting. Tom C. has just joined us in the live chat saying hello all. Hey, Tom C.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Fiscarelli saying, I met Steve Bjork for the first time at the Princeton Rainbow Fest in maybe 86 or 87. Interesting.
Yeah, I first met him at the 86 Chicago one, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like Woodstock for a cocoa nut, if you think about it.
It kind of is.
Just stay away from the brown acid.
No, they only serve that at the MC10 Fest.
Cookie, anyone?
Yeah, it's. I mean, now we're reaching record numbers of possibly 100 attendees, which is still really cool. I mean, everything's in perspective if you think about it. The fact that this past year we've had 80 some odd at CoCo Fest and Tandy Assembly. My predictions for 2018 is we will hit 100 attendees at CoCo Fest and Tandy Assembly. That's my prediction. That is my wish, and that'll be part of our mission of this show is to definitely kind of pump up those shows. I got
a little news on that front. The financial controller voted yes. So I will be definitely there for Saturday.
Hey.
Cool.
I don't know about Sunday, but definitely there for Saturday.
All right, folks, you heard it here first. Steve Bjork will be attending CoCo Fest in 2018. That's
breaking news. Stop the presses. Good to see you again, Steve.
And hopefully that doesn't make some people not want to go.
I mean, there's only 2 MC10 MC10 out there, so it should be okay.
I don't think border control will let me past.
Oh man, that's cool. That's cool. Well, let's take a quick look at the Glenside website here, real quick.
Just before you do, Steve, I just want to mention one comment from Jim in the chat room there, where he after Steve announced he's going to school the troll on Saturday.
Yeah. Brian Joyce says all the MC10s just canceled their tickets.
All 2 of them.
Yeah.
Well, Jim said he's going to bring his MC10 for Steve to sign. So
there you go. Would you entertain that? Steve?
He's not. First of all, he's going to have to sign a statement that he will not show my signature to anybody under 18.
Disclaimer, right?
Because it will be inappropriate language.
So an alias is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Something like, this effing machine killed the deluxe color.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Go self-mote yourself.
All right, well, let's take a look at the GlensideCCC.com website. This is the Glenside Color Computer Club, host of CoCo Fest. We know who's currently RSVP'd right now: Rick Adams, Neil Blanchard, Ron Delvaux, Ron Klein, David Ladd, Grant Leighty, John Linville, Mark Marlette, John Mark Mobley, Boise Pete, Mike Rowan, John Strong, myself, and Evan Wright are going to be there. We do have some events lined up. So 6 p.m. is when the club is going to start setting up the area. 7:30 p.m. is if you're an exhibitor. You can start to set up your exhibit. At 9 p.m. that early access will close. This is Friday night. And then usually after that, I imagine some people go to dinner, and then there's usually a late night lobby hangout and drinking occasion there. So Saturday we have an early setup at 7 a.m. Show opens at 9. Our first event here, and this came across by some suggestions we had on our roundtable discussions and a few other things like that, but a booth tour. So rather than kicking things off with a keynote speaker, we're going to take a tour of all of the exhibitors so everybody can kind of show off what they're doing. This also came up in one of those discussions, but lightning talks. where everybody can spend 5 minutes, and we're probably going to have to give a training course on how to speak concisely. But a 5-minute elevator pitch on what your project is or what your table's all about. Very cool presentation by Jim O'Keefe on Keefe with programming in fourth. We have lunch. John Strong will be showing off some video game development. 2 p.m. we'll have a live CoCoTALK for 45 minutes from CoCo Fest. An award ceremony, the no minimum bid auction, which this is the reason to go to CoCo Fest. Even if you're anti-social, if you love the CoCo, this is like penny stock version of eBay. You can buy CoCos starting at a nickel, right? The on-site dinner is always great. Trivia contest is great. Social hour and the musical jam is great. Sunday, we start off with our national anthem. To be determined talks. A working lunch and Glenside meeting, another auction, and then we close things up at 3 p.m. with a dinner. So things are coming together for the plans for CoCo Fest. It looks like it's pretty well organized already. And I know as things are revealed, we'll probably hear about them on the CoCo Crew podcast. And if John Linville has any new pearls of knowledge to share with us throughout the week, if he discovers things, you're welcome to share those too, John.
Sure. Well, there's one unfortunate update. Boise Pete discovered that he had already made a commitment to something to do with something local to him. So he's not going to be able to make it to CoCo Fest. That's why I just changed his picture to Mike's picture on the trivia contest. The other thing that's kind of unresolved, if you go up to the award ceremony, so I'm trying to, so we've had people complain a little bit about the awards are kind of disorganized.
Okay.
And I kind of conveyed that message and then got volunteered to think of the categories, my punishment. So what I would like to do is have some community participation, both in suggesting the award categories and in nominating and selecting the awardees. And so I'll probably be doing some of that through the Facebook group using their polling mechanism. But so instead of just, basically, in the past, they've decided to give out the awards and then kind of made up a category to go with who they wanted to give the award to. And so I'd like to actually have some real categories like, most innovative new CoCo software or, best CoCo hardware vendor or, stuff like that. So I plan to nominate, to create a few suggestions and put it up as a poll. And so if you could vote for which categories you'd like to see, I hope to put out more suggestions than there will actually be awards. So we'll just take the top 5 or 6 or 7 categories and then put those back out for nominations and voting on who should get the awards. That's my plan right now.
Okay.
If you have any comments on that, I'd love to hear the comments. And otherwise, I'd love to have the suggestions for the categories and for later for nominees.
Well, one award that you should have, but you won't know until everybody's there, is the person that came the furthest.
Right.
Well, I'm trying to avoid ones that require tabulation on site, partly because I don't want to do it.
Okay.
So I'd like to be able to resolve the tabulations beforehand. Haven't decided whether we should try to keep that a secret for the big reveal or just go ahead and vote on it openly. That'd probably be a good question to ask what you guys think. Other than that, well, like I said, I probably one of the things that have to be tabulated at the last minute.
Okay.
Well, a lot of award shows, when they get started out here in California for the different entertainment divisions, is that you come up with a list of names of people that you want to win the award to get them to come to your ceremony. It's a little bit like putting the cart before the horse, but the idea is you get the celebrities to stand up there and say something nice. It's when you get big, like the Academy Awards, you don't have to do it that way anymore. But trust me, in the beginning of the Academy Awards, they did it like that, so they would have these better stars, directors, and like that show up for their award ceremony and give it some sort of credit.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, Jim Brain's kind of agreeing with that already because he basically said he'll attend as long as there's a most troll-like attendee award. So,
see,
working already.
Yeah. Maybe you can have still have the big reveal, but have the nominations known ahead of time or something.
Well, that's what you do is you tabulate it, find the person that won, and give them a call and say, "Hey, are you coming out here? Oh, you are. You get an award." You don't show up, you find the next person on the list that will.
Right. It's like I said, I already put out that one poll. Do you think people should have to attend to receive an award? Got some feedback there. Some people feel more strongly than others. But I think you should have to attend or have a good excuse, partly just so that we don't have to figure out how to get you your award if you're not there to pick it up and take it home.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, just an aside, John, I tried to put in or use the link on the Glenside site there to say that I was going to be attending, and I keep getting a timeout error, so you haven't received it, I don't believe.
Okay. All right, I'll add you.
Okay.
And, of course, add me.
Yeah, I just did add you, Steve.
Okay.
Excellent.
So how do we keep a... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just the whole thing about awards is, one guy wins it. What about the guys who want to win but don't? What do we, what about those poor suckers?
Better luck next time?
Yeah.
Well, yes, either nobody gets one or somebody else gets one.
We need a participation award.
Yeah.
A participation trophy, right? So yep. I guess that kind of
a mug of douche or something, maybe.
Yeah. Right. I believe it's been at least 30 seconds, so I'm able to interrupt at this point. It brings up the question now, though, too, is the award for the best CoCo product, or is it for the best CoCo product based on who's coming to CoCo Fest? Because that really becomes two different categories. Because, for example, let's just say Devil's Advocate, one of Ed Snyder's products is voted the best CoCo product of the year, and he can't make the event. Is it still not the best product? So that, to me, seems to be a little bit of a fuzzy category. If you want people to be present and attend, obviously that's desirable. But if it's an actual category for the best of something, not everybody's going to be able to.
Especially our overseas friends.
Yeah.
That's quite the expensive trip.
Well, do you like it the way it is now, where they just decide who to give it to and then make up a category?
No, I don't. Go ahead.
Do it the way that you're originally going to do it. I was just kind of mentioning to you, it's something to keep in the back of your mind. If something's borderline, give them the award.
Yeah, I mean, that's the winning category, I think, for the attend or not, is attend. You have to attend unless you have a good reason not to.
Right.
Especially when you combine that with must attend, it definitely weights towards attendance. So, I mean, I think people understand what must be present to win means. So,
okay.
Personally, I'd like to avoid categories that are best, bestest or best. I prefer more like most fun or most innovative or most useful or something like that. It's just a nit for me, but best subjective, most
True.
useful.
Yeah.
That's subjective.
Very true.
By the way, I just corrected the timeout issue on the contact page of the website.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Wow. What was the general response, John, to the questions? I know one of the things was must they be present, or I think one of the options was unless you're like in another country. What was like the main
There were three options. Yes, absolutely. Yes, with exceptions, and no, not necessary. And I think we had three each for yes, absolutely, and no, not necessary, and then 5 or 6 for the yes with exceptions.
Okay. So most people seem to think that, yeah, you should be there, but there are some valid reasons why some people can't, like being in Australia or, being outside the United States, or North America, I should say, right? So
I think my examples were inability to travel, and I forget what else. Let's see.
Yeah.
Pneumonia.
If they're already dead. So if you wanted to give an award.
Deceased.
But yeah, posthumous or inability to travel was the two examples we gave.
Now, John, has there been any thought of doing like a People's Choice Award where the attendees themselves vote for one particular award on Saturday, saying on Sunday?
That's a good idea.
Well, like I said, my only thought was I just don't want to tabulate at CoCo Fest.
Well, as long as we don't use Dynacalc, we should be okay.
That's probably the fastest way to get it done at CoCo Fest, so. But I mean,
no, I mean, if you just limit it to one award, like a People's Choice Award type thing.
Well, I mean, you could have something like Best Booth or whatever. Like I said, farthest attendee or something. Those are things you could do. I don't know. I'd like to see this evolve to where it becomes a little more pre-planned, where like the trophies actually have people's names and categories.
Yeah, that would be neat.
Well, your best booth is already a given. It's Glenside's with all the donated computer equipment. Without doubt, hands down, best booth.
Yeah, right.
That's not really a booth, though. That's the auction.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they all those
entirely.
Yeah, but all those tables with that equipment, that.
How about a Lifetime Achievement Award or something like that?
I probably will suggest that as one of the options.
Yeah. Well, I think what you're going to have an idea of who your exhibitors are. So maybe the category should be based on the exhibitors. And so, there's going to be a handful of hardware and software. So, best new product of the show, best in show for hardware and software, for example. And that doesn't say the best product of the whole CoCo universe, but best in show means who came to the show, something like that. So best in show hardware, best in show software, best in show booth, or maybe under the booth you have, I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. So I think
it'd be nice to have the categories done ahead of time, so you have names of the trophies. That probably you should have 1 or 2 that are done at the show because of stuff that shows up that you weren't expecting. That might warrant an award, and you should get a little troll doll, like those little troll dolls they have, and put Jim's name on it. And give that as
yes, and just bring
the best in show. Stuff like best in show is like a car show, isn't it? Because you turn up.
Yeah.
So my one worry about doing an award for people at the show is that some people may keep their project secret until the show and do the big reveal. Well, that means nobody's voted on.
All right.
Yeah, it's done all ahead of time. There's it doesn't get counted.
Besides, the best in show, the award doesn't have to have their name. It just has to have best in show CoCo Fest 2018.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. And at the end of the day, if you're best in show or not.
Right, and that's what they make P-Touch labels for, anyways. Your name here.
The worst thing is
after the fact.
You got the award with that P-Touch on there. You peel out the P-Touch and you find it was actually for somebody else.
But they didn't show up, so they didn't show.
So I have a question about the schedule.
Wait, I have one more award idea. Maybe maybe some sort of general innovation award or something like that. Something broad,
like not specifically hardware or software, something just a
just like someone did something really weird or neat or
advancing the
community. I don't know,
like a Forest of Douche cup or something like that.
Right? Yeah. Okay, that was it.
No, that's a good idea.
Yeah, something along the lines of maybe best in community support.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There. Okay. Well, I like the semi-democratic approach to it, where people are getting to voice something. I like the democracy versus the let's just decide who we're going to give them to approach. Definitely like that, but I see there's challenges on both ends of this. Coming up with the categories, making it fair and balanced, and not wanting to do live tabulation. So there's a little bit of juggling must take place there,
or a mixture of a couple of approaches depending on the award.
Right.
I mean,
there you go.
If we use some sort of online voting, the tabulation isn't that big a deal.
Right. So if you use an online voting thing like a Survey Monkey or something like that, then the results will be semi-private. Because a Facebook poll, if you base it on that, people are going to know who the winner is before the event. So something like that online survey is probably the way to go.
If you do it at the event, you could just have all the nominees leave the room and everybody raise their hands.
A silent auction.
Old school.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I see another challenge though with the schedule. How are we going to do a CoCoTALK in 45 minutes?
Stay on target.
Yeah. We've done one in about an hour, so it'll have to be a lightning talk.
We just basically introduce everybody and then say we're done, and that's the end of the show.
Yeah. Hey, John, who's in charge of the schedule?
I guess I am.
Okay, I'm going to have to talk to you. If you want me to talk at the show, it's going to have to be on Saturday.
Okay. Do you want to talk at the show?
Yeah. Yes, and I know there's some people that will shoot me if I don't.
Okay.
All right. Won't be the MC10 people. Well, maybe not.
The seminar's going to be what's wrong with the MC10. So.
You know what award Steve Bjork is going to get, right? We already know.
The MC10,
MC10
Fan of the Year award. Right?
The MC10 Booster Award. That's what he's going to get.
Ultimate Hate Award.
Steve? Is your talking to be on self-modifying code by any chance?
Yeah. Oh, guys, come on.
The do's and don'ts of self-modifying code.
Don't!
on an MC10.
Then he won't care. Go ahead.
The only good use I found for self-modifying code was in that copy protection for the ROM, because it would go through and modify the ROM if it detected it was a pirated cartridge.
You can't modify the bloody ROM.
You weren't the only one to use that technique.
You can't modify the bloody ROM, boy.
No, of course not.
Well, it's called read-only memory.
Right. So Paul Fiscarelli says there should be a trophy for the cutest booth babe too. So
that already goes to David Ladd.
David Ladd. And by the way, what time is the wet T-shirt contest scheduled for?
It's part of the booth tour.
Otherwise known as the throwing the beer time. But
yeah. All right. Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with this fascinating conversation and many more.
Hi, this is Randy Weaver, and you're watching The Original Gamer, Stevie Stroh.
Greetings, YouTubers. Atari Leaf here, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me, it's Original Gamer Stevie Stroh, and welcome to a brand new segment of the show that we call the Pandering segment. And this is where we ask you to help support our efforts by checking out our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com, where you can grab yourself a coffee mug like this, or maybe like this, or maybe one of the even cool new deluxe travel mugs, possibly even a DVD featuring some gameplay goodness. All of the proceeds that we get from the Retro Swag Shop go right back into the production and hosting costs of the show, as well as compensating the artist Joel Adams, who designs all these cool things for us. So consider supporting our endeavors by picking yourself up a piece of merchandise from 8bit256.com. On top of that, if you'd really like to help out the show on a long-term basis, we've got a brand new Patreon site where you can support us with regular contributions, and you can visit us there at patreon.com/OGStevieStroh. However, we'll keep it real simple. visit us on the web at CoCoTALK.live, and you can get all the information there. And while you're there, why not send us an email to CoCoTALK@CoCoTALK.live. We'd love to hear some feedback from you, some suggestions for future show ideas and topics, and maybe even submit a segment or bumper yourself. The show wouldn't be anything without you, and we appreciate all of your support. Yeah, so that segment needs to be shortened up and needs to be punched up, right? A little bit more enthusiasm, a little bit more cowbell, I think, is what that little pandering segment needs there.
More cowbell!
According to our little site. So,
You don't get yourself yanked again.
I wanted to say something about Christmas Rush by John Linville. Nice job.
Yeah, it is.
It's on
that was a fun one. That was intended to be one out of 3 or 4 mini games all put together with the Christmas themes or whatever, and it just turned into one game.
And you done the MC10 as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I did it on the MC10 as well. That's right.
Yeah. Winner's ship.
Yeah, that's right.
Get the product to market. So.
Yep. And Jim says the MC10 version was the best.
Awesome.
Well, I love the end of the best of the year episode too, where we had the "Have We Beat This One to Death" played about like 5 or 6 different times in there. "Have we beat this one to death?" I never get tired of that phrase. So
I'm really glad John didn't patent that phrase there, because we owe him a ton of money.
We don't have a lot of money.
Oh man.
I got a question for you guys. Who did the original, did you get your CoCo 3 yet? Recording.
Well, that was a really old recording. I'm not even. Boise had it from his research for the book, but it was the person that's saying it. I can't remember the name. Steve probably knows. He's actually on that recording. It's at it was like some sort of like a Rainbow Fest roundtable, CoCo 3 roundtable, something like that. It's Barry. Barry, what was Barry's name? Yeah, I don't have the details.
Barry from Radio Shack, you mean, or Barry Thompson or something, or
Barry Thompson? Yeah, this Barry Thompson saying, "Have you got your CoCo 3 yet?"
Barry Thompson.
Yep.
That brings back memories.
Hey, you got your CoCo 3 yet?
That's it.
Hey, you got your CoCo 3 yet?
Simon finally did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I whacked it with self-mod.
Yeah,
Simon got a self-modifying CoCo 3.
It's definitely wacky, let's put it that way.
Another interesting bit of information we could gather is how many people have the 86 or 87 chip.
Good point.
Right. Once Mark Overholser's internet online thing is fixed, we could have our CoCo's phone home, right, and just report back to CoCoStatistics.com what type of gimmies they've got, what type of bastardized power supplies are in them, what type of CPUs they have.
Actually, I was planning on making profiles to do that sort of stuff, so that game code could be loaded down and know what could use on your CoCo.
Right. Yeah. What type of keyboard?
does have a CPU check built in already, so.
Are you in touch with Randy Weaver? Marco?
I know who Randy Weaver is. I don't speak to him very often.
Heard the name.
He's helping to computerize or modernize the Glenside database stuff, get it on the web or whatever.
Okay.
He's got a lot of thoughts about collecting data on what CoCo people have or whatever. So you might be looking at the same kind of area of work.
CoCo Census Bureau.
Yeah.
Advantageous to take. I have a 128 CoCo 3 with 87 chip, and 2 of my other ones I have 86s. would it be good to teach about put the 87 chip in my 6309?
That seems like the holy grail of the CoCo is if you had an 87 gimme with a 6309 and 512K or better. That's like the best of everything, right?
Yeah, because 86 had some sync issues on the fast interrupt or something, if I remember.
I was lucky I've got an 87.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not insurmountable problems. You kind of program around it, kind of like Intel does when they get a little bug in their chips these days. So
somewhere on the SDC chip, or SDC card, is a test to tell you which chip you have.
yeah, and Sockmaster does some of those same tests because some of his demos require slightly different timing to work between the two gimmies. Now, somebody a couple years ago made I think it was a Facebook group or something, or maybe a Google Maps thing where they had a list of all the CoCo users and where they lived.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's... Did that have information on what CoCos everybody had too, or is that just location?
No, it was just names
location.
and locations. Yeah, and Brian Joyce actually asked me to add him to that. I have to pull that one up again. That is on... yeah, Hugo created it. I've also got access to add people to it. That is on imacoconut.com under communities, I think. It's a pretty cool little map. That made the best of episode 2, the CoCo map. So that would be interesting. But yeah, so a CoCo Census Bureau would be kind of neat to know how many are out there, what type of hardware they have. It might help a developer figure out what should I develop for, Yeah,
I was just going to mention that. It would actually help the developers quite a bit to know, like, what size of market do I have if I program for this particular platform.
Well, yeah, part of it is knowing how many active units are out there, and then how many of those people are just have a computer versus are an actual consumer who would want to purchase something new.
I think Ron's garage would really throw the stats off. Like one entry, and it would be, several pages of gear.
I have 14 MC10s. 3 are being used as doorstops.
Yeah.
Show us, Steve. Can you show us that map?
Yeah. Give me a second here. Yeah. So this is a good time for me to plug the imacoconut.com website, which I'm going to pull up here right now. For those of you who don't know how to spell that, it's imacoconut.com. This is your one-stop shop for all your color computer needs. And I believe it's possibly under communities. Let's see. Under communities, we have Ron Delvaux' Facebook group, CoCo community. Perhaps it's under resources. Let's take a look under resources. I made the site. I don't remember how I organized all this crap here. Color Computer Archive, CoCo links page.
Google World Map.
CoCo Google World Map. And here it is. All right. And so, and so this is the map. And so you can see, we've got a large concentration of people. Nothing in Africa. And ironically, we have a lot of people wanting to join the Facebook group from Africa. So I find that to be ironic. South America's got a pretty good representation here. As we make our way through, we got at least one person in Mexico, a handful of us in Florida over here. And so North America's got a pretty good population. Canada, pretty popular. Although nobody in Ontario, from what we can see here, huh?
No, it's all by the Toronto. You got to go down to the southeast corner of Ontario. Then you see a lot.
Yeah.
Who's in Puerto Rico?
Who's in Puerto Rico? Let's see.
They probably don't have power to fire it up right now anyway. So.
Yeah. So that is Luis Garcia. Wow. We got one person in Puerto Rico. Okay.
Quite a few Australians too.
Yeah. Australia is looking good. I have to add Brian Joyce to that. And that in the European, so United Kingdom, we got a pretty good concentration. Belgium, the Netherlands, and Germany, and Switzerland,
Luxembourg,
and Austria. Yeah, and over here in is this Spain here?
Barcelona, yeah.
Yeah, so we have Spain over here. A lot of CoCo nuts around the world, and then of course, look at this. We have South Korea, the Philippines, and then Australia. So we have some people in Asia too.
Of course, there'd be somebody in Korea. After all, A lot of the CoCos were made there.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, could you zoom in on Southern California for a second?
Sure. And I don't think I have you there, Steve, because I don't think we were in contact with you when we set this up.
Yeah.
So
wow. 3 people in the Los Angeles region. Yeah, that's definitely not me.
Yeah.
See where it says 605? That's about where I'm at.
605, right around here?
Yeah, near there.
Okay.
We'll update it later.
Okay, cool.
Did you get a lot of smoke from the fires?
Now, if you're talking about the most recent one that they still haven't put out, the Thomas Fire, it's the largest fire that's ever been in California.
You get a lot of smoke from it?
Yes and no. It depends on which way the wind's blowing, but most of the time the wind has been blowing out to the sea.
And if anybody's watching the show right now, or anybody who's on the call, even if you're not on the map, just send me a message on email or whatever, and all I need is your name, city, state, zip code. Don't need your address. Don't need any personally identifying information. We just want to know what the general city you're in, and we'll get you added to the map. So I'll put my email address in there in the live chat. It's ogsteviestro@gmail.com. You can email me. You can reach out to us a couple of different ways, and we'll get you on the map, because we haven't updated that in a while. Very cool.
Be able to figure out an alternative place for another CoCo Fest too, or assembly too, based on if there's a whole bunch of people in one area.
I think there are probably only like 3 of us in the whole of Denmark. So.
Yeah, you and Fedor, and who else?
Asker.
Okay.
Yeah, and the one in Spain, is that Per Serrat or?
Yeah, it's probably Per. Yeah.
Okay, and then we have Matteo in Italy. At least we've got one Italian in our midst.
Yep.
So we are a diverse group.
When they were doing the Rainbow Fest way back, the Southern California region was always the smallest attended show. Until they did one in Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay.
That was the smallest.
Really?
Yep.
In Tandy's
they
territory.
had 4 locations, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
In Princeton, Fort Worth, Chicago, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, the ones they did in Southern California were in Long Beach.
Interesting.
And Color Computer Magazine did 1 or 2 too, if I remember.
Right.
Color Expo, or whatever it was called.
Yeah, there was Color Expo. And there was 1 year of that. Then there was another color computer show put on by a friend of mine at the Disneyland Hotel.
You would think California being a big city, but I just wonder, because Silicon Valley, there are so many other machines that are popular in that area. Maybe the CoCo was a true underdog on the West Coast.
Well, Southern California, we have so much to take our attention away from doing hobby stuff. You know, we got Disneyland, the other amusement parks. We've got, big time soccer. As a matter of fact, they're trying to bring football back to Los Angeles. Instead of doing it with one team, they're bringing in 2 teams, thinking we're a big market, we can handle 2. No, the Raiders, they left us. The Rams, they left us. Everybody leaves us because they can't get enough. We got beautiful weather for the game, but nobody wants to go to the stadium.
Everybody's too busy surfing.
Yeah.
There was no Wally World there?
Wally World.
Wally World was Magic Mountain.
Wally World, that's a Griswold holiday.
Yeah.
Good times. All right, what else do we got to talk about? Are we getting near beating this one to death, or we think we're doing pretty good? Or
Trademark by John Linville.
Yep. Anybody else got anything they want to talk about as we talk about the year-end review of our Life as CoCo Nuts?
I think the best of the year show kind of summarizes some of that up.
Yeah. If you
which
haven't
I definitely
watched
would
that
recommend
one,
anybody who has not seen it yet, go definitely see it. It's got some serious moments. It's got some funny moments. It was quite well
oh,
done.
you know what? Here's what we need to do. Here's what we need to do. I told Brian I was going to do this, and I forgot. So last week we opened up the Vegemite, right? So I have not eaten the Vegemite yet. So we're going to do a live on the air reaction to me eating Vegemite. So
yes,
better you than me.
Yeah, I'm gonna run a commercial, and then we'll be back because I've got to actually make some toast. I understand this is good on toast, so I'm going to go toast some toast, and we'll come back. We'll spread some Vegemite on the toast.
We need to see you spread it on live from the jar.
We will do that.
Hey, you need to get a barf bag.
All right, we'll do that. So we're going to be back in after a commercial or two while I make some toast. So we'll be back in a minute.
Bring that
toast.
Wash it down.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Just handle that for
Hi,
you.
I'm Mike Rowan, and you're watching The Original Gamer, Stevie Stroh. And when you're done watching, come over and listen to the CoCo Crew podcast.
What's going on, everybody? The Original Gamer Stevie Stroh here, and I want to talk to you about I'mACoconut.com. If you love the color computer like I love the color computer, then you got to visit I'mACoconut.com, your one-stop shop for all of your Tandy color computer links needs. There you'll find links to blogs and podcasts and project sites and emulators and downloads and groups and communities. If you love the color computer, head on over to I'mACoconut.com. That's IMACoconut.com. Tell them the Original Gamer Stevie Stroh sent you. CoCo forever, people.
Hey, have you got your CoCo 3 yet? Hi, this is Rick Adams, author of Temple of Rom and Shanghai, and you've tuned into CoCoTALK, the nation's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy color computer.
What's going on, everybody? Original Gamer Stevie Stroh here, and if you're a fan of vintage computing and retro gaming, then you're going to love our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. There you will find custom designs by Instagram artist Joel M. Adams. You can get I'm a Coconut, CoCoTALK, and other cool video game images on a t-shirt, coffee mug, or mouse pad. So if you love retro, then head on over to the retro swag shop at 8bit256.com today. Tell them the Original Gamer Stevie Stroh sent you.
Hello, this is David Ladd, and you're watching Original Gamer Stevie Stroh.
Radio Shack's store-wide manager's red tag sale is on now. We've slashed prices 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. Save on famous Radio Shack hi-fi, car stereo, radios, toys, TV games, calculators, walkie-talkies, and CB radios. Look for the big red tag. Save like never before on these and literally hundreds of red tag specials. Hurry into Radio Shack today.
All right, we're back. Well, I just felt like it was going to take too long for the toast to toast too toasty, so it's going to be slightly not too dark of a toast, but we got some toast here. According to what Brian says I need to do, let me move the camera down. All right, can you guys see this right now?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right, so here's the plate. Let me move my keyboard out of the way. All right.
Don't want to barf on it.
All right, so here's the plate. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of butter on here. He says you should do a little bit of butter first. So light layer of butter.
Doesn't that dilute the taste of the Vegemite?
I don't know. All right, so
you keep butter in a country crock container?
Yes. So here is.
Before you eat it, did you bring something to wash it down?
I did not. So
or to spit it out.
Yeah, you have to get some of those Australian shot glasses and load them up first.
All right, so here we go.
It's a very thin layer. It's a very thin layer.
The higher the alcohol content, the better.
What color is it?
Nice tar, yeah.
It's
very dark.
Pretty much a nice shite color, if you ask me.
So it's the color.
What you don't eat, you can seal your driveway with later.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
All right, so here we go.
That's what they make capacitors out of.
Okay. It's very salty.
You got to eat the whole thing.
He's deciding. He's deciding.
It's very.
He looks a little wounded.
It's kind of like bitter. It's kind of like bittery salty.
It's kind of like not Moorish.
It is. I wouldn't describe it as pleasant or tasty in any way. Well,
it's like you're battling a monster in Forest of Doom. How many hits can you take? Before you have to bribe or run away.
Nick says there's a low salt version.
Okay, well this is not it. this is the high salt version. Yeah. Very bittery, very salty.
I'm just grossed out watching you eat it.
Not pleasant. It's not a pleasant flavor, but I'm gonna own this and I'm gonna eat the whole slice.
I need to get a spoon and eat the whole bottle.
You know, honorary Australian after this.
All right.
You may have
Yeah. We need a T-shirt. I survived Vegemite.
All right. So there it is, folks. There it is. I ate the Vegemite live on the air. And my reaction is that, yeah, it's not the best thing I've ever tasted, but, I wasn't going to throw up or anything like that. Nick Marenta says, make sure you've got the toilet free for the next 2 hours. What do you...
It's coming out the other end's the problem.
What does that say there?
You're in the hole.
What is that? Hemi? Does that thing got a Hemi in it?
Yeah. It's Hemi barbecue sauce. You know what we should do? Is we should make some hot cocoa barbecue sauce for the...
Yeah.
It could be in a green, nuclear green container.
Steve, you got a thumbs up from Brian Joyce. Says,
Okay.
Honorary Aussie.
Honorary Aussie. Okay, well I did it. I took my medicine.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not sure how people could eat that crap though. It is it's
we need to get
acquired taste.
We need to get you to try Marmite.
Yeah.
It's different.
It looks like peanut butter, but it tastes like something that came out of an animal's rear end.
That's an endorsement.
Yeah. Well, don't they have coffee beans that go through a monkey or something?
Yes, they do. Yep.
Oh, man.
Nick says, now try OS 9.
Yeah, were you going to say something, John?
We need some Swedish listeners to send in some of their salted fish or pickled fish products.
Pickle herring?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I'll send you some pickled herring.
Lutefisk.
That could be a whole new segment. What kind of nasty crap can we eat this week?
Nasty crap we make Steve eat is more like it.
This week on Steve Eats Something Disgusting.
It's like a whole... the culinary version of Fear Factor. Oh, sweet Lord. Well, I've definitely beat the Vegemite to death because I'm not eating that anymore.
You're gonna save it up for a Christmas treat for the rest of your family next year.
But you know what it is? It's like somebody comes over. It's like, hey, have you tried Vegemite? You know that thing from that song? Well, you want to try it? Here's a spoonful.
Does it have a contents label?
Let me play some Men at Work for you while we eat this crap. Maybe it'll make it taste better.
What do you expect from a formal plantation colony,
Yeah, right. Nick Marta says it's the gift. It's the gift you serve your enemies.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Want to get rid of a house guest? Vegemite.
You should just send it all to North Korea at this point.
Oh man, I can still. It's still with me. It's kind of like that episode of Floppy Talk. It still lingers.
Like an Australian EMP.
It's like an EMP went off in my mouth.
Well, the EMP was coming in about an hour.
The gift that keeps on
you need to cleanse your palate.
Yeah.
And your bowels.
Oh, that comes later.
Yep, there'll be a colon cleaning.
Oh, is there what's going on tonight? Is there another Trash Talk live episode going on tonight too?
Yes, there is.
Let's look that up real quick and let's plug that. They did that once before. The Trash Talkers had done a live episode. And that's tonight. I don't exactly remember when. Let me check my events and see if it's in here. Here we go. Let me go back to full screen real quick, just so you guys know. So there's an event tonight. It's called the TRS-80 Trash Talk Live #2. This is a Facebook event. And if you guys are not familiar with the Trash Talk podcast, Peter Satinsky and a handful of TRS-80 aficionados discuss this. Ian Maverick's on here. Randy Kindig's on here. Who's the hardware guy who's doing the VGA thing? His name is escaping me right now.
Peter Bartlett.
Peter Bartlett, right? So, yeah, and so they are kind of like the CoCo crew for the TRS-80s, and they are the TRS-80 Trash Talkers. And tonight, live at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, it will be streamed to YouTube, and I guess you can call in via Skype. There is a link to the channel. So, if that interests you, I would say you should probably check that out. What I will go ahead and do as well is I'm going to copy and paste that into the live stream. So there's the Facebook event.
Looks like they have Vegemite too on their show.
Oh yeah? There you go. Well, we did it first, so we are
this is what I was talking about.
Marmite. Let's take a look there. Okay, so what kind of animal excrement does that taste like?
No, it's yeast extract. It is just as black as a Vegemite. You can have a look.
What's it come from?
It's dark brown. There you go, on a spoon.
Wow.
Really, really dark brown.
You have some serious light problems there.
Light on. Where is that stuff made? In the UK or?
Yeah, Marmite. Yes, it's UK.
What's it made from?
You don't want to know.
Yeast extract, right? So,
yeast extract. Well,
leftovers from making beer, isn't it? Or is
that's
that
what Vegemite is. That's Vegemite. But Marmite might be also.
So, but yeah, it's an acquired taste. It's really an acquired taste. You love it or you hate it.
What's John got there?
I'm just messing around.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's very salty and it's very. No, it's an acquired taste.
Absolutely. So tonight at 9 p.m., TRS-80 Trash Talk Live. If you need more vintage retro computing discussions, you got a chance. Oh, look at this. Donut Dilemma in the bag. Yeah, John Linville's been mentioning he's ordering cassettes now. He's on to that. That looks good.
Yeah, pretty cool. It's even got the enhanced CoCo 3 version on the back of the tape.
Neat.
I had trouble getting it to work for the Go Climb Ladders. I was not sure what's going on with that, but otherwise seemed to run. So
that's neat. That's neat.
So.
What did Nick say? Can you feel like you're about to give birth to a chest burster?
From Alien
and stuff. Well, I want to just this is the last thing I'm going to say for today. I don't know what else you guys want to talk about, but I want to kind of repeat what I said at the beginning of the show. Is I'm definitely thankful for the group of people that we kind of gather. You know, the shows like the CoCo Crew and events like CoCo Fest and Tandy Assembly and the Facebook group. They help kind of create the sense of community, the sense of connection, and then having shows like the CoCo Crew podcast and CoCoTALK, letting people get together and just talk about the CoCo is one of these things I can never get tired of listening to myself. Although I have been accused of just wanting to hear my own voice, it's actually the other voices that I'm a bigger fan of listening to. So I want to thank everybody who's been part of this journey for me. It's been going on a little over 2 years, helping to contribute to our knowledge and our understanding and our appreciation for this wonderful machine and this really cool community. So thank you, everybody.
You're welcome.
Hey.
Thank you.
Thanks for having the show.
Yeah.
To share all this with everybody.
Yeah, it gives me a chance to hear myself.
Weekly at that.
I'm really thankful for David Ladd, and I just wish David could be here today. I know he's with us in spirit.
Did he die?
Yeah, he popped by and chat briefly earlier, but I guess he had
Did he die? No, he didn't die, Grant.
No, he had some friends or relatives come over that he hasn't seen in a few years, so that's
priorities. It was like, John Strong couldn't make it to Tandy Assembly because his sister was getting married. And I'm like, listen, you know the date in advance. You can ask her to reschedule her wedding. But no, everybody's got their priorities, right? So,
and now we got a new one, which is, the Vegemite starting to run through. I can't attend the show live.
So I've said what I need to say. I've plugged the trash talk. Anything you guys want to close with? Any plugs, closing remarks, ideas for next week, our first episode of the new year?
Just read Jim's response.
Well, I'll just go ahead and plug cocoman.org and say so far I've only been back in this for about 3 months, but so far I'm enjoying it.
So give it 4.
Right. Well, you won a mug.
I know. So much in so little time was accomplished.
Did anyone get anything CoCo for Christmas?
Yeah. Boise's book.
Same here. I bought myself Boise's book for Christmas, too.
Yeah, that's a good read. That's a very good read.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
We need the audio version of it, though.
yeah.
But who would narrate
You
it?
should see what I got from my...
David Ladd.
Well, here, so yeah,
In his creepy voice.
I ordered a
David Ladd.
CoCo 2 just before Christmas, and I also ordered Ready Player One, which I am listening to the audiobook version of. So that's a little bit CoCo-y for Christmas.
You should see what I got from my sister for Christmas. It's a deodorant, right? But
Deodorant.
not because I'm smelly, but look at it.
Fakook. It says
That can
Fakook.
be read wrong, can't it?
Yes, it can. Somebody made a typo.
For when you use it. Remember, there used to be a cologne for men called High Karate, because if you used it, you were going to need to know karate to protect yourself from all the women.
I remember that.
You're dating yourself.
Yeah, either that or Old Spice.
Old Spice.
Hey, so when you guys start reading that book, it'd be cool if you had come out with some of the things you didn't know. Like, I didn't know this, and then expound on it.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's a
lot
in there.
Yeah.
Talk about that book. It's here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I'll show you the very first page of it. When I met Boise in Copenhagen.
To Simon, the Mad Vogman.
VDG.
VDG. Okay, keep on cocoing and don't burn up that 6847. Boise Pete. There you go. VDG. Yeah. Reading is fundamental. The Mad Vogman.
Not to our show.
That's cool. Very cool.
Yeah,
the only thing I did for CoCo for Christmas. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Simon.
I said it was a pleasure to meet him, actually.
Yeah.
Very cool guy.
I was going to say the only CoCo thing I did is I finally updated my CoCo SDC to the latest version and finally put the SDC Explorer on it for Christmas. That was my Christmas present. Been sitting for months.
How do you like it?
Nice mug there, Ron. And the red CoCo mug is kind of Christmassy if you think about it. If you got yourself an I'm a Coconut red mug, it's very Christmassy.
Are we going to have T-shirts for the CoCo Fest? Does anybody know?
I'll order one. I'll tell anybody who's doing it right now. I will order one.
They talked about that on the podcast. The club is not officially doing it. I know Jim O'Keefe has done it a couple of years. So,
We should have a rainbow T-shirt.
Yeah. Good question. Good question. All right, anybody else got anything they want to close with or plug before we wrap up this episode of CoCoTALK?
Would you wear a rainbow T-shirt?
A rainbow T-shirt? I would, especially to a gay bar.
Yeah, the Vegemite got you started, didn't it?
Wow. Good night, everybody.
We should have dissed the VDG community, I guess. So.
They just sit you down, buy you drinks. They spend time with David Ladd. It's great.
Sorry, they have a nuclear green cup. With CoCo screen on it.
Yeah, right.
Extended color basic,
Oh my god.
All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up then. We all good?
Yeah.
This is a short episode. We are only on 2 hours and 14 minutes, so we're,
nothing like the last CoCo Crew one, anyway.
Yeah, right.
It was what, 5 days and 4 hours or something.
Yeah, there was lots of content there, though.
Yeah. Thanks again for another great episode of the CoCo Crew podcast, John. Every month for all the information. The interview was great. Everything was great. It was good to hear the roundtable again. So all that good stuff.
So pray for Myro. I think we're going to change things up a little bit. He's going to take on some or all of the editing responsibilities for the show, and hopefully we'll get more Neil content as a result. We'll see.
Okay.
But we are planning a little change up there, so we'll see where we go from there.
All right. Well, I'm gonna close the show with the bonus music videos that we opened with as well. So before we play us out, we are gonna go ahead and hear these new music videos too. So get ready to start bobbing your heads, everybody. Y'all ready?
Mm-hmm. Happy New Year.
Okay, I see us.
Happy New Year.
A lot better.
Yeah, a lot less laggy.
Yep.
My little tick.
Yeah, but we're missing the beanie on you know who.
On Grant.
Thank you for watching CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color computer. For all things CoCoTALK, visit us on the web at CoCoTALK.live. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to CoCoTALK@CoCoTALK.live. If you love the color computer like we do, then visit I'mACoconut.com for all your color computer needs. Consider supporting the show with a purchase of merchandise from our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, then visit our Patreon site at patreon.com/OGStevieStro. CoCoTALK would not exist without the community and its cast and crew. Thanks go to Curtis Boyle, David Ladd, Mark Overholser, Grant Leighty, Bruce Moore, Rick Adams, Ron Delvaux, Richard Lorbieski, Jim Brain, Nick Morentis, Karen Anscombe, Simon Jonassen, Wayne Campbell, Steve Batson, Brian Joyce, John Strong, and Barry Nelson. Special thanks to Steve Bjork for production suggestions and Brian Joyce for our Best of 2017 episode. Please help support the CoCo community by visiting some of its contributors. The CoCo Crew podcast at CoCoCrew.org. Glenside Color Computer Club, host of CoCo Fest at GlensideCCC.com. Jim Brain and Retro Innovations at go4retro.com. Tandy Assembly at TandyAssembly.com. Cloud9 Technologies at cloud9tech.com. Boyson Technologies at BOYSONtech.com.
Jim is in fine form today.
And happy CoCo New Year, everyone. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yay!
By the way, Ron,